okay. Then the third one I read was Job Hoppers or Purposeful Career Changers: How to Stop Being a Job Quitter and Get on the Right Path by Ava Mena. The author's personal experience made the book relatable because many of us, when we talk about jobs in Nigeria, in the country where jobs are scarce, and some have the opportunity of jumping jobs, while some are there looking for at least one job. And I guess this will give the book an advantage. It is a country where we have a lot of job seekers. We have people who want to read about jobs and stuff like that. So this will give the book an edge over some of the self-help books we have around. The author tried to focus on career development and purposeful career changes, which I feel will keep the book in the market for years to come, unless if the situation in Nigeria changes, which we don't see it will anytime soon. But I feel the book will be in the market for a long time. However, traditional publishing is very okay. Like I mentioned earlier, what are your plans in case you don't get the publisher who wants to publish the book? I think you should have a plan B. So the fourth one rather, I read, should be the fourth, right? Is Alabaster Box by Becky. Well, I must commend you for writing the stories. Actually, writing fiction is one of the hardest writings to do. It is easy to write a non-fiction, all these how-to books. It is easier to write them than for one to write fiction. The book has a unique concept. Even among us here, you can see that it's only Becky that is talking about writing a whole fiction among all the proposals. So it is she is the only one daring to delve into the fiction world, which is commendable, and I applaud her for that. Well, the different stories touch many societal issues, which gives the book a wider audience. Becky has an organized approach and a realizable goal. And like she still wants to do the traditional publishing. So I hope there's a plan B. All right. Thank you. So I think this is almost the last one, the anthology of essays, short stories, and poem, a book proposal. The fact that there is a mixture of essays, short stories, and poems means that everyone has something to read in this book. This also shows the that the author is versatile rather. So I think the author here has done justice to the proposal, and it's going to be marketable, like I said, because it touches a wide audience, and it shows that the author is versatile. So but I had to read Ebube's own, and since he's here, I just want to say what I feel about his own, though I know I can't nominate it as part of Winnie Essence since it's not part of it, but I read it. So tendency, understand the signs of addiction and free yourself from extramarital sex, theft, laziness, procrastination, and other undesirable behavior. So tendency is a promising book. It clearly depicts an understanding and overcoming various addictions in human beings. He talked about extramarital sex, theft, laziness, procrastination, etc. He has spelled out a strong motivation based on common inquiries about human behaviors. This will make people desire to read the book. I have seen my own weakness too. I procrastinate a lot. So when I saw the title, I was like, okay, because of procrastination, I would love to buy this book. You get it? So I have seen one of my weaknesses too. This will make me want to read the book. So a lot of people, many people want to buy this book because they probably have seen something that has touched them. Is it laziness? Is it procrastination? Whatever undesirable behavior. So I commend the author for this. Your schedules, workout, etc. are very realizable and achievable. Your preferred publishing seems okay, especially for a first-time author. So just feel that some part of the proposal were too casual, especially the way you started the introduction. You're like, mom's, mine was the reason, you get. So I was like, oh. So the starting of the introduction, I feel it should have been better. It should have been more formal than the way you started it. So that being said, I'm going to nominate, the first one I'm going to nominate actually is Chukwemeka, and the reason is because of its ability. This was a very hard one for me because all the proposals were okay, they were good. People put in their best, and it was hard for me. But then I love the versatility about this particular proposal, and that's why I'm going to choose this one. The proposal is well structured and the writing style engaging. So I'm going for my number one is Chukwemeka, and then number two is I'm going for Humble Bonus Own, and it's simple. I would love to read a book about albinism. It's something that we've neglected for a long time. So I love that, and I love the way he structured the proposal too. So my two nominations are Chukwemeka and Humble. So thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, my mic was. Thank you so much for the detailed. You did justice to your time. If it were possible, we'll give you more time, but of course, we'll have to move on. Thank you, Rosalie. So Humble, I don't know if you're back with us. Humble, because we're probably the first person to join this meeting. Humble, if you can hear me. Okay, Evie, are you well positioned now? I'm not even sure the Evie is here. Okay. I don't know the next person to join us. I'm guessing is Collins. I think you are the next person to join us, if I'm correct. If you can hear me, Collins.
Okay. I can hear you. Am I audible?
Okay, yes. You have the mic,
Okay.
Collins.
Okay. So I just want to say, it was a good one, even though I don't think personally I have strong experience writing a book proposal or anything of the sort. But so I would judge based on a couple of criteria because after I wrote, I started to study a lot more about book proposals, and I began to see the criteria that most modern day publishers or most modern day editors would use to judge or to judge if a book proposal is worthy of being pursued, if the book should be published. Just something to note before that. I would just ask permission that I be excused at some point in this meeting because I have an online class and it's quite important. So at some point I might jump out as the meeting progresses. But let me just hurry up quickly to my review and to my nominations. So being born different, I do I admire I admire the attempt and admire the novelty and admire the thoughts because like Rosalind said, it's not very often that you see people thinking about writing about albinism. I admire the thought that went into it. I admire the idea, even though initially I thought it was non-fiction, but it seems to be fiction, and I think it's a good thought. However, that's the two issues there. The first issue is the one I see may reduce how persuasive it is as a book proposal is that the precursor, that is the first part of the work, the first part that introduces the proposal makes it seem like it's non-fiction. So when we get to see that it's fiction, we don't get that much of a story. As to how that fictional story is going to depict the message that the book is trying to pass, because the background and everything makes us so hopeful of what the book is going to be like or what it should be like. So but there's still this little bit of uncertainty as to, okay, when we realize it is fiction, actually it's about a girl, I can't remember the name, who has been through a lot. So there's still this question mark as to the story, as to like how that fiction is going to fully portray the issues that the beginning parts has already highlighted. But I still think it was. I think someone even commented that personally they would have preferred if they would have loved, notice that that bit of in terms of like since it's fiction to just make us to see how real or how you narrate that the story of albinism for it to be convincing, especially if it's fiction. But other than that, I thought it was a good one. The next story I read, I'm giving in order: Job Hopper, Boastful Career Changer. I think this book would be quite impactful. I think this book is something that most people most people would like. I think the idea itself is actually something that would sell. However, I think the proposal itself, maybe it's just because of the spacing. If you read through it, it gets confusing at times because it's as if the paragraphs are jam packed. So I think the spacing would have helped. But also, I think that there is, how will I say this? There is not when you look at it comparatively with other like book proposals, there's like very little detail as to let's say what this part of the section of the book is going to look like, or this section of the book, or this other section of the book. I feel like that detail makes it seem more convenient. Seems like one theme. Okay, job hopping, and job changing. Okay, what else? Like, there's just that question of what else is the book going to be about? What else? How extensive could it be about? So that's the thing that was just a question mark in my head. But I think every book proposal had its strong points and had its weak points as well. So that's just it. I think it's a really nice idea. But that extensiveness, it just needed to show that there was going to be more than just the topic itself. Because, and I think this is going to apply to most of the other book proposals, is if they can get this information somewhere else, like maybe a quick blog post or something, there had to be an additional thing that a book would give them. And that brings me to our waiting years. Our waiting years was very heart heart heartwarming, or hearts almost, I would say heart wrenching, because I've seen people who have been through this. I have family members who have literally become, some have almost even lost their marriages, some have almost even become bitter individuals, some have lived through it, some have survived through it, but some, their lives have been completely changed because of the fact that they could not bear children, and because of the kind of society we live in. Women, most of the women I know who have struggled with infertility have even suffered the most. So I really understand how impactful this would be. I think it's something that is definitely going to be viable. I think it's something that will definitely sell. I also like the the exposition in the book proposal, how the author begins from their perspective, even though I do think, and I don't know if this was established, maybe I'm forgetting because I read all of this a long time ago. I don't know if this was established, if there's going to be more inputs. I don't think so. From I remember there was like specific chapters for each. I don't think there was. So it's there needs to be, for me. I think there needs to be that additional convincing that it's not just going to be one lane, because there are two issues there. One is that if people can completely relate, since women and men are like go through different struggles in relating to the same one topic, infertility, to tell your story alone might give some people succor, but then some other people might not necessarily be able to completely connect. And that's another thing that came to my head with the book with the book proposal. It's if I think she was telling her story about how people recommended links, recommended stuff to her. If somebody recommends a book like this, your story might differ. So I feel like, well, if it's going to be something that reaches a wider audience and has impact on that many people, there has to be that additional like richness or that extensiveness that makes it relatable. So even though your story might encourage somebody else, sometimes it might be a limited audience, because not everybody relates to, let's say, grief or infertility or all these topics that we're talking about the same way. So I feel like a lot more inputs maybe for maybe other people's stories or something like that would have had a lot more impact. But it's still the author's prerogative to decide to tell their story however they want. But I just felt more convincing for a book proposal of this magnitude, of this importance. Next one, and that brings me to Alabaster Box. The reason I like Alabaster Box is because of that multiplicity. It's approaching a very sensitive issue, or a bunch of sensitive issues actually. The core of the book is about women, especially those that have been despised by society, or those that have been labeled by society to be this and to be that. And it also is including men in its storyline as well. Men who have been victims, men who have suffered from certain things or certain issues or certain wrong perceptions that society has held for a long time. For me, I like the fact that it's also an anthology of some sorts, but it has different layers to it. It Different stories. I remember, I think there was Throws, I think there was the Agberu Boy or something like that. There was a lot of it. So I think I like the idea, the ingenuity to have different perspectives, different stories to tackle this issue and to tackle it effectively. I think that's something that most people want to look forward to. I think when people read short stories these days, yes, people want to be able to read, even if it's just one topic. They want to be able to read different perspectives as much as possible. They may not like, if they go to an anthology, they may not like the first one, but then they prefer the second one. The third one is their favorite. The fourth one, okay. The fifth one. So I think that ability to give people choices, whether it's an anthology or short stories, I think people, modern day readers, modern day writers, too, love that kind of stuff. So I think this will sell. I think the only shortfall I would point out is that the excerpt chosen, I don't feel like if someone else was reading the book proposal, I don't think immediately, because the excerpt is supposed to be as captivating as captivating or as entertaining as possible. I don't think the particular choice of excerpt did justice to that as much. So I think maybe if she's revising it, if it's a book that she does have very strong intention of publishing, maybe another excerpt or something of the likes, etc., etc. So I think for the book proposal itself, it was good. Just would have been strengthened with a stronger excerpt that captivates and that holds the people's imagination. So everything else, I like the fact that there's going to be more stories. I think that brings me down to the anthology by Chukwemeka as well. I liked and I admire and respect the fact that the book is already kind of in progress, the fact that it's already something that is in the works. I think this is something that's going to be very convincing to any person reading the book proposal. It was convincing to me. I like that as well. However, I think I think one shortfall I will have to identify is that I think that there isn't as much, and I'm doing this comparatively now. There isn't as much clarity as to what these stories might like be like completely. I mean, we get an idea of what they're going to be like, and I think he did, and this is something I have to commend him for. He did a very good job in explaining. Of course, he's already started the work, so he did a very good job of explaining how he's going to overcome writer's block, how he's going to write it. I think he did. I think so far in all the posts, this was the best in being detailed as to the workability and as to how he's going to achieve his goal of getting the book published. But I do think that the story itself, to get people interested in the anthology, that to be like a little bit more detailed, at least chipping a couple of things from more stories or something like that. So for my votes, I'm going to go with first Alabaster Box by Becky, because like I already said, I liked the fact that it's bringing in multiple stories in one and exploring like different societal issues and tackling it with different multiple perspectives. And I'm going to also I'm not 100% certain. I would have to pick. I think I'll have to pick our waiting years. I do think that the book does have a lot of potential. The a couple of question marks, but I think that it's something that would be a good read. I think it would be a good read, especially if there's a lot of good marketing that follows it. So those are the two picks. Thank you guys. Was I audible throughout?
Yes, yes. Sorry,
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to join with my other email account with Neuros and Co, so that but it was echoing. Thank you so much, Collins, for your time, as usual. You did a good job. The next person that joined us, Humble. If you're here,
Yes, I'm here
to
now.
okay, Humble, are you here now?
Very well, sir.
Okay, okay, let's hear from you, Humble. You have the mic.
All right, sir. So the first one I went through was The Path Amidst a Thousand. That is by Collins on Daily Core. I can't pronounce that correctly, I'm sorry. And talking about the struggles of people in school and young adults especially. The proposal is quite catchy, and I must commend the author for that. Um, since this is he wrote from his own personal experience, and that is something nice. And I think it's going to make sense if it goes out in the market. One thing I understand is that even the best books do not usually, you cannot, um, you can't satisfy everybody. The audience, you may have a very fixed audience who will especially benefit. And this one, it's young adults that will benefit mostly from this. Even parents would like to get this kind of book for their young ones who are still in school or those who are just contemplating going to the university. So this book really makes sense. And especially the fact that when talking about publishing, he was very detailed. He even mentioned how he's going to go about it. He already has in mind a publishing company that he's going to use. So I want to say he did a very good job in his book. Thank you very much. So the second one I read was Job Hopper, and that is by Vamina Nana. This one is nice too. You know, the issue of, in fact, sincerely, there are no jobs in Nigeria, really. And I think this book will help the person to keep the one that he has because not everybody can become an entrepreneur or can own a business. Although I would have said the paragraphing thing is quite like the paragraphing is really not that okay for me. So when words are packed together like that, it's really difficult for people to find joy in reading. I'm talking about this proposal now. They are too packed. The spacing is not that good. Let me put it that way. And I think the writer would have done better in this regard. But apart from that, I think it's a nice one since the book will help people who are looking for jobs or who have jobs to know how to keep the jobs that they have and to have a blueprint according to how she put it of the career path they want to follow. So I like this one as well too. Thank you, Nana, for writing that. And the next one, Our Waiting Years by Mrs. Roslyn Shaw Olajide. I appreciate the honesty in it. It's it's a memoir, and so it's memoir, it's something personal. It's a person's personal experience, and that's nice because I know people who also are facing this issue, and I've heard things that other people say about them, say to them, and things like that. And I understand the hurt that can come from hearing negative stuff from people we trust, who we think should not even say what they are saying. So I think although this only those who are married who are facing this problem or those who know someone who's facing a problem will be those who will be interested in reading this. It doesn't have a wide audience. And that's not really a bad thing because everything does not appeal to everybody. And so thank you very much, Mrs. Olajide, for this memoir. I would love to read it too, although I'm not married yet. At least to see how I can get the mindset or know the mind of those who are facing this issue and maybe help them in one way or the other by my words or from what I've gained from the book. The next is Alabaster Books by Becky O. Welowo. I don't know how to pronounce that very well too. So this one, I think this is 20 inspiring stories, all fictional stories. What actually caught my attention was the fact that the stories here, or the fiction, it actually has a wide audience. boys, girls, men. And one I would really love to read is The Taming the Thug. Where I live, where I stay, I Agberu, there plenty, there are much around. So now having what we see them as, many of them see them as wicked, as bad, as just everything negative about them. But I think this particular story here, talking about, it's like the person has a beautiful soul, and that may be something we actually overlook. We look at them from a distance and just judge them. But when we get to know them as individuals, we get to see that some of them are actually beautiful in their souls, or maybe because of what life has thrown at them, or because of the bad association. So they have actually told that path. So I'd like to read your book, um, Becky. And the last one, not the last one actually. I think, have I missed one? Okay, no. Anthology of essays by Mr. Chukwemeka Luka. As usual, his writings are top notch. And for the fact that there are essays there are short stories, there are poems. Everyone has something. Like there is something for every person. Someone who loves essay, you have them there. Someone who loves short stories, you have them there. And someone who loves poems, you have them there. Um, Mr. Oluka did very well in in how he explained the proposal. And he mentioned a particular tool that he's using that I have not heard of. That is Zotero. Yeah, Zotero. I don't know it. I will try to check it out to see what tool that is that Mr. Oluka is using. And yeah, I think that's my review of it, of the ones I read. I think we all can do more. That's just the thing. So I will be picking or I'll be nominating um, Job Hopper by Evamina Nana, and also Alabaster Box by Becky Elowo. Thank you.
Yeah, humble. Thank you so much. Did you read Ebube's story?
No, I did not.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to. I don't know if Evie is back. I don't know if Evie is back. I'll just check here and see if he's back. I don't think so. The next person to join us was Becky, I guess. Becky, I think you're next. If you
Good
can hear me,
evening,
Becky.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I would want to pass for this because I was able to read just 2 stories. It's been an overwhelming weekend for me, lots of deadlines, and I was reading like I was studying because I needed to also learn from the proposals I was reading. So I was just able to read the first 2 stories, Collins and Humble's story. I don't know whether I should go ahead with giving reports on that, then I can do the rest and send by tomorrow, or I should just give a report on on everything tomorrow with my
You know,
nominations.
we always look forward to hearing from you. So you give us the two, then you send in the rest. But you just need to do it between now and
Okay,
tomorrow.
sir.
Today is
Yeah, I'll try
June is
to.
only 30 days. Today is the last day.
Yes, I do.
So
So
if you
for
have, if
the
you
part
have,
I missed,
yeah,
Amazon.
for the two, thank you. Go
Okay,
on, go on.
by Collins. I like the topic. It was a catchy topic because um, it talks about something different, taking a path that any other party could take a very easy way. That's why I saw the topic. But I was thinking for the subtitle, instead of saying the struggles of navigating academia and career as a young adult, it should just leave it with navigating academia and career as a young adult, because adding the struggles of makes it look more like he's talking about the problem, not the solution. And since the book is supposed to be a solution, I'm suggesting maybe you should remove the struggles of. So you have the path amidst 1,000, navigating academia and career as a young adult. Then the target audience, He mentioned many of the target audience, and then he concluded with the rest of the society. So I think the target audience should be those first things he mentioned: the high school students, parents, guardians, educators. They are the key audience for this book because it will be talking more about them. And I don't know if he has read a book by, I've forgotten the name of the author. I tried to check it in my library, but I think someone must have borrowed it. Do you know me enough to teach me? That book has similarities to the kind of book he's writing. I'll look for it again. Maybe I'll send to our WhatsApp group. So it talks about teaching anyway, and then it mentions uses different stories of people and students saying, "Do you know me enough to teach me?" Student experiences to say what they want their teacher to be like. So I think that book would be a good reference if he's going to write about that. Generally, I think his book is a very good one because it's quite needed. I'll say a large percentage of young adults in Nigeria, especially, have this problem of choosing a career path. Your parents want something from you, you want something for yourself, the society wants something from you. So this book will be quite relevant in world today, in Nigeria today. So I think it's a very good one. I didn't see other things. Okay, at 300 pages, yes. I think it was one who said he wanted 300 pages. And I think that's quite voluminous to have 300 pages because um, maybe I'm just, in society we are today, people have lots of engagement and then everybody wants a quick way to whatever it is they want to do. So you having, such voluminous book when you can actually make something enough, something that is pocket friendly, something can easily slip into your pocket, take to work.
Well, it seems we have lost Becky. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Chukwemeka, you will have the mic. If Becky is done, she can continue. I think we have lost her.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Happy Sunday, everybody. So I read through all the entries, and I must say that they were quite intriguing in their own different respects. But there's something I just needed to say before I delve into one or two things. I I feel like um most times we are carried away by by how do I put it now? Carried away in the sense that sometimes um we forget that we are writing for a competition. That may not really be the priority, but it's something we tend to overlook sometimes, and then we put it by the side. This kind of, for example, this exercise you are doing now, there's I do not know how I feel about it, in the sense that there will be some element of subjectivism into it, if I may use that word. But then I was a kind of being lost somewhere, trying to find myself, and in between trying to be objective and try to be subjective. But then, and this also influenced the way I patterned my my entry. But then what really helped me influence my writing for that entry was that, okay, I pictured Simone as a publisher. I pictured him to be a publisher that has asked me, to write my book proposal, that he's ready to get me published. And I pictured him giving me the rules. Before tax, he said we should what? Write and be detailed about it. So that was what, once that came to my head, I said, yes, I'll work with this, and I'll use this to flesh my book, my book proposal. It is not that I don't have any other thing to, because I've read numerous book proposals, and there is nothing, there is no casting, so there is no automatic formula. But I felt that, okay, this is the publisher sitting behind me, sitting right in front of me. I mean, Cmonionline, and he has given me what he expected of me. So I felt, okay, since he has given me this task, as in maybe the rules and the regulations, I should write and make it tailor-made to his demand. So that was how, that's what really influenced my style, the way I have what fleshed my book proposal. I think, who was that? I think it was Collins that said so. And if you notice, the rule said a short book proposal. Yes, I've seen book proposal that could even extend to 5,000 words, but he was specific. He said a short book proposal. And it's not that I cannot shoot beyond that word count, but I was constrained. Being that, and that is what I mean, that every competition has its rules and regulations, and we tend to overlook that aspect. So Colin said maybe I didn't flesh some of my stories. Maybe I didn't maybe put the stories. If you notice very well, I put that. I put some of the stories. I highlighted some of the stories, but then maybe he wasn't really observant. I put them in hyperlinks, about three of those stories. So that maybe if the author wants to read more, he can click on those. I mean, not author, the publisher. He can click on those stories to have an insight on whether this writer is capable of embarking on this journey. So probably he didn't see the hyperlinks. Actually, there were selected stories I put there. That aside, talking about the stories, now I'll just say one or two things briefly about it. I hope I'm still audible. Okay. The first story is the one by Collins. The the story is quite relevant, relevant, and it resonates to a lot of persons. I feel that the book will sell. Yes, it will sell. It has a far-reaching audience. It will sell. But then, just like someone has, I think it's Rose that says so, that the time frame he set out, imagine 21 weeks, 21 weeks for a book of up to 300 pages, 21 weeks, that is roughly 5 months. I doubt if that will be realizable anyway. I don't know. But I love the way he wrote it. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants. But then again, I feel like he didn't really write it following the prompt. Yes, that is my own take. Then being born different. Yes, by humble. It is a niche that he found, and it's something that people rarely talk about. I believe that people will be interested in this book because it's something that mainstream literary works don't really delve into. I think there'll be a market for it, and he has his plan spelled out already. But what I needed to say that he just like Colin said, he was not really specific whether he's doing the line of fiction or non-fiction. So I was not really clear about that. And also the publishing route he took. He at one point he said, I felt he was saying, okay, he will go the part of regular publishing houses. Where he said since this will be the first book that he needed to fill his book. And then, on the other side, he said he will go the indie route, as in the independent publishing route. So I was kind of confused. But then again, that doesn't undermine the extent to which he put in fleshing this book proposal. And then the third one is Job Hopper or Proposal Career Changer by Ifamina. This is a very nice work as well. And starting from the title, I felt he was not really, the title should, for me, should be a little more convincing. Reading, because that is the first impression you create. Yes, I felt that he needed to be convincing from there. And this is a book that has an audience. People will be interested in the book because it's something that touches on a major issue in the society. And then Our Waiting Years by Mr. Solajide. A very nice book, and emotionally grabbing at the same time. she did a very good work, and I feel that I feel I feel that there was something she left out deliberately, because since you're telling this, since you were telling us that this is your story, you need to. I felt that she's holding back. She held something, one or few things back. How do I mean? Whether, well, I'm not in a position to say, I'm not in her mind anyway to know the reason. But I felt that when you're giving a real life account, you should also tell us whether you have you succeeded in giving birth to children. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but this will add more. It will make it more relatable, you know. So that is my take, and it's very good. It's very good. Alabaster Box by Becky. Becky did a nice work as well, and he from what he has, it shows the enormity of work she has put in into this book proposal. And reading through it, you understand where that she has a plan already. She has a plan spelled out on achieving it. What she needs to be done, what she needs to do is well spelled out right there. And for her to be able to, but what I should advise is that she should be able to be very, very careful in selecting those stories that will chronicle the theme. You understand? Because I understand that the theme is about compassion and not about to judge people anyhow, the ability to give people second chances. My only advice is that she should make sure that the stories she will select to chronicle that theme will be in sync, you know. So that is it. So for my nomination, this is a. I mean, if I can tell you that even up to this now, up to this point, I've not even. But I will go with I would Rose, because this is a book I really want to read if it is published. For the fact that I would love to read that book when it is published, makes me want to select Rose as one of my nomination. Then the next one I will nominate. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next one I will nominate is what is the name again? I can't see my screen. Yeah, yeah, Collins. Yes, Collins. I'll nominate Collins because yeah, going through his book proposal, if you're a publisher, you will understand that yeah, he knows what he wants. Even though it wasn't really written to follow the prompts, but going by what he has written, it shows that this is a writer that knows, that has a direction, that has a blueprint for achieving his aim. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Becky, you're back. Thank you so much. Chukwemeka, Ebube made a point, which I just want to highlight. Evamena is a she. Just so you know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Becky, if you're back with us, I think you've been coming on and off. Not so. Even Peace was here. She left. Ebube, are you still with us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Sorry, Ebube. Before I jump to you, Chukwemeka, did you read Ebube's book? Ebube's story. Sorry. Chukwemeka
Yes, I
seems to
did.
have left.
I
Please,
did.
can you
I
give
did.
us some feedback, because Ebube is really eager to get feedback from the community.
Okay. Yes, Ebube, he niched down on a very a very vital area that touches on the society. No? I feel that the book will sell. I feel that the book will have an audience, a very big audience, a large audience at that. Yes. But I feel he he needs to streamline. He needs to get it streamlined. How do I mean? It was, I don't know if I'm using the right word. It was too a bit over the place. He needed to streamline it a bit so that they will know. Because when you are talking about what was that? And there were many things he dealt into, but I felt that okay, he needed to streamline the issues so that the reader will identify the issues he's focusing and trying to address. That is my take on it. But if it is a very nice book, it is, and there is an audience for it. People want to buy it if it's eventually published. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, Ebube, before I move to you. Collins, there's a point raised by Becky, which I would want you to just take note of about your title. I think is a very important point. She said something about the struggles
Yeah,
being
yeah. She said that the struggles I should
yes,
think
and
about taking a part out. I noted that, sir.
yes, yes, good. Because I myself I had to I read it again and I said, well, if I read this title twice, I may just say, why would I read the struggles? You understand me?
Mm.
It's not
You
everybody
know,
that will know
you
that
know.
you have your suggestions and your solutions.
Mm.
So it's good that you
No,
take note of it.
it's still a working title. It's still a working title,
Yes,
sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Ebube,
Yes, sir.
okay, I'll pass on the mic to you now so you can give us your feedback
All
and
right.
nomination.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Um, I would want to first of all um thank you for a very important insight you gave to us at the very beginning, which is building a community before getting your book published. And I have seen that play out a lot of times. I've seen a lot of authors that publish and then they have no one to sell to, or they are actually begging people to see their book or even get to market it more forcefully. And then I remembered because I love the business sphere, business psychology and all that, and I watch and content around that. I saw how this the Rock this actor The Rock built a community of people, and then when he started selling his what I call it drink, this beer or whiskey or so, I can't really recall. But when he started selling tequila, it's it was the the revenue made in just the first year was something significant that normal businesses might not make if they are just starting afresh. But he was able to make that a possibility because he had already built an audience. So there were people who are loyal to him that he could easily push his product to. And what you mentioned about that really resonated with me, that to actually be intentional about how we use our social media to build an audience so that they know us for a particular kind of thing. So that in a year time, hopefully, when we're actually releasing our book, we have people on ground that are willing to buy our book and even spread the word. So I don't know if people do not take it seriously. I do take it seriously because I've seen it happen. So I appreciate that very point that you made um initially in the first half of this session. Thank you so much for that, sir. And then yes, I will quickly move down to the, I don't know if I'm still audible.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. I'll quickly move down to um the the stories, the proposals, six proposals here, and then give my nomination. So I'll start with the first one, the path amidst a thousand, the struggles of navigating academia and career as a young adult by Mr. Collins. Now I quite resonate with this book so much because I remember how it was when I was trying to get admission to the university then, and you know, I I even wrote a book similar to this, although I didn't publish it. The draft is still somewhere in my locker about this because it was a pain point I went through. And then I felt this pain point, okay, now that I finally got an admission in 100 level, could be addressed. So that book is still there. So I actually like it's very, very relatable. I I would also want to say that I love the fact that it is niched down to a market. Like this if someone wants to tell me, or if anyone wants to read this book just from the title alone self, we know that this addresses the problems that fresh jam bite. I think those are seeking admission, especially in a Nigerian university, would definitely need, so that they know how to make right choices before making that choice. So no, not that they've gotten into school and then they're like, oh, I didn't know that this is what I should not have followed or taken. So I really, really resonate with this book. And then I love the fact that it's specific. It has a specific audience. So it's I give kudos to that. Then the second book, yeah, written here was Being Born Different by Mr. Humble. I to be very honest, this is like my very first time um being aware that there is a problem um that the albinos face, and that is even deep as like from what he painted from his book proposal. In fact, I saw one part where they said there is a belief that people that have HIV should sleep with albino and then they'll get cured. And I'm like, so this rubbish superstition even exists. Like I would do as a medical doctor, I would even believe something. I won't believe that eating mosquito will cure malaria than sleeping with somebody will cure your HIV. So I actually learned a lot from this proposal. I learned a lot of things that the albinos face, the stigma that they're actually going through, the 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 situation that they find themselves in, and how they may feel somewhat helpless, not being, I mean, they didn't create their skin to be like that, but then they found themselves in that situation, and then they're being tagged by the society as a white European or unfortunate European, and all those nasty tags and stigma that. So I like the fact that he brought this up, and it's bringing awareness. Like it has brought awareness to many of us, as it has brought awareness to me personally. So it's bringing awareness of this fact that is actually has not been really looked into, right? So that's the second thing, like feedback from him. The third one by Miss Ivamina, Job Hopper. The title somewhat puts me off a bit. I understand that this is like a first proposal, and we are all subject to even have a change of our title as we develop our book. And even I too would probably change some things, like from the feedback I got, like trying to make it more specific to a particular, not jumping all around. So I understand that is still subject to change. But I would really love that in any write-up, in any essay, or any competition like this, it's better to just make a choice. Like you don't want to tell your author or your publisher that you are undecided. It's better you have a stance and then you change later than to give two stances, if there's something like that, and perhaps not even use any of those two. Like there's an alright pause on us. But nonetheless, I like the fact that she is addressing a market of people that hop from job that switch jobs. Yes. So I saw a fact that she pointed out that the average worker switches job 1 to 2 years. I was amazed. I mean, I never expected that on average. I was thinking it was way longer than that. I hope our sources were valid, like to make such strong points. I hope it was a valid this valid claim. And but nonetheless, it's actually a very great book. I believe this is a book that is going to sell, especially in the area of entrepreneurship. That's people that are working under a manager or within the corporate space. So it's something that would really be a guide to navigating how they can make certain decisions. And this book should be a light to them so that they don't just make nasty or hasty decisions and regret them later. So this is a powerful book. I must commend. Then the next book, this one hits me. Our Waiting Years by Mrs. Roslin. Now, um, one of the things that's um, that shows the strength of a person is how they are willing to make themselves vulnerable to the society. I believe sharing her story of infertility with her husband over a long years must have been something that I mean I could feel the struggles she went through in her story. And I, there is something about reading that proposal that made me know that it was from her heart, like from the depth of her heart, and she was actually telling a story that she was very particular about, the story that she has lived, that she is living or has lived. And it is something, I mean, one of the key ingredients that makes a great book is how well the author is able to connect emotionally with their audience. And I think Mrs. Roslyn did an excellent job on this. Like I really look forward to seeing this book. I really look forward to reading this story and reading how how she was able to go through things, like the challenges, and how she was able to scale through these challenges and see how strong she had been even when situation of things demanded to see her weakness in an event like this. So it's a book I can't wait for whenever she's done to finish and send for me to read. I need to read this book. Yes. Then Alabaster Box by Mrs. Becky. Uh I initially I didn't know it was going to be somewhat of an anthology, like a collection of books. The excerpt she gave was it's kind of led me to think towards a particular part, and then somehow she was able to narrowly make a fine connection between that and then the alabaster box in Jesus' story. like like it's more like picking up a character and giving us a backstory of the character. Like in the story, but biblically, we just saw, a woman came, broke alabaster box, crying on Jesus's feet and all. But and then she was painted by the society, by Pharisees, then as um someone unclean or someone who has done nasty things. But I like the fact that she picked out that character and then trying to paint, but then not just painting just the woman, painting the story of what's the word now? Like, okay, the society sees a particular group of people as this, but do not really know what they've been through to before they make such quick judgments. So they see a prostitute and they just tag her as a prostitute, someone not to be in terms with, without knowing the backstory of how she became one. Even when chances are it was not her initial choice, it was situation that made her to be so. Even the case of, and in the case of being a tout, an agbero, probably they never intended to become a tout or an agbero, but because they probably maybe an issue of a faulty parenthood or financial hardship, and things that could actually push them into that lane of the outlier that the society tag. So this her story actually paints a picture of of we looking into the lives of these people, and even looking at some transformation, unexpected or incredible transformation that are possible in people that we've tagged societally um um, um on like societally not good or evil or benign or so or bad rather. So that's a very very good one. Then Chukwu Emeka Oluka, his anthology of essays, short story, and poem. One of the things that actually struck me here was that he had already begun his process, and I like the fact that I think it was mentioned in one of our review sessions, either two review sessions ago or last one or so, that I think I don't know who raised it up, but that we could actually make a collection of all the stories that we've written together and then form a book with it, something like that. So I like the fact that I don't know if he was the one who mentioned it and in like raised the point then and then it's implementing, or so he just picked it up or had been thinking of it. I like the fact that he's actually making a collection of all his works, and um he's um polishing this work together, and that he has already started. Like those things like actually like caught my attention, and I appreciate that. Now I'll just, before I give the nomination, I'll just talk about some things I noted generally. Now this me being objective about how a book proposal should go. Um I for I'll start with Mr. Humble's own. He Mr. Humble did a I think he did a graphics of his book. Um, I At first I was like, hold on, like if you are, I mean, chances are the publishers may want to do their own graphics or depending on what they feel and all. But then when I saw that he wanted it to be self-publishing, like he wanted to go for self-publishing, I was like, all perfect. Like he showed that extra mile of, okay, I am going self-publishing. I have even done part of the things required for not just doing the book proposal, but also like showing this is my graphic, this is how I want my front cover to be. And he did that, and to me, I mean, it blew my mind. At the beginning, you said traditional, I would have said it was unnecessary, but self-publishing, they go hand in hand. And then I think he also wrote about the author. Yeah, I not many of the applications of the entries rather gave an about the author. Like, we do not know you, right? Okay, you are writing to a publisher. You want to build a reason why, who are you, like why should we care about you before we care about your book? So I feel that's an important part that most people like didn't really paint very well or even put at all. So about the author, who are you, what have you achieved? Okay, if you're writing a book about if you're writing a book about say, okay, work work hygiene or something, have you been in the work hygiene industry before? If you're writing a book about um albinism, have you worked with an NGO or something that shows or paints the picture that, okay, you know what you are doing, you are in the field of what you are doing, or you are like, we can easily consider you an authority, or at least tending towards the authoritative part of writing the book. So we know that, oh, okay, you are this, you've done this, these are things you are in, these are things you hope to do, this is who you are. Okay, there's a good correlation between all these things and the book that you're writing, and then it's something that can make the publisher say, okay, let's consider this person. I feel this person may know what he's doing. So I feel that about the author part is a very, very important place. And then um what else? Generally, it was a wonderful book. It was a wonderful entry. It was a collection of wonderful entries, rather. And I'll just finally give my nomination. So the first nomination on my list here is Our Waiting Years by Rosalind very personal, very very. I feel there's a big market for that. Yes, and it's not just limited to Nigeria. It's a it's a global problem. The infertility, and I like the fact that she also gave a statistics to even buttress why her publishing the book is relevant. So it's my first nomination, and then my second nomination goes to um humble. I think yes, humble. Being born different. I, he seemed to know what he's doing from his book, um from his proposal. He seems to know what he's doing, and he seemed to like be in the paths that he is going. So these are what I have to say regarding. I hope I didn't take so much time. Thank you so
Of
much.
course you did. You want to sack me from work. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Ebube. Like I
Thank you,
said,
sir.
I'm enjoying these sessions more, and we'll be doing this a lot more. Okay, I'll just go back and share the agenda I put up earlier. Hold on. Okay. Okay. We'll just talk about this briefly. The 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 retreat we talked about. I haven't reached out to Daniel. You know, Daniel was actually the person that organized the last one, which was very, very successful. So Victor Ladejo joined us. I don't know if he's left. Victor, are you here?
I'm here, sir.
Victor, I don't want to be sacked from work. Did you read the stories, all of them?
Yes. I went to.
Okay, but you joined us late. Please, could you just send in your feedback? Don't just send nominations. Send in your feedback, unless you're going to rush through it now. Will
Let
I
me
give you the
just get
chance to?
back to you.
Will I give you the chance to
Uh,
just
uh,
take a few minutes and then give us your nomination?
sir, can I just give feedbacks and send nominations later?
No, if you read all of them, what feedback are you giving? If you read all of them, then you give us your feedback and then nominate.
Like,
It is the feedback
okay,
that
I'll just say,
should be even written. Do you understand me? Because nomination is just saying this is impressed me. This is why. But the feedback we want to get is
no,
what is more detailed. What should be more detailed?
so okay, let me just get my nomination.
Come again?
Okay, my
Yeah, because the
nomination.
nomination, when
I,
it's not as if when you nominate, I still publish it. But if you nominate here, everybody gets to hear it. Becky didn't read through, so she will send her own in. But if you read through, you can just briefly give us your feedback and then
okay,
nominate too.
okay. So the reason I was even trying to send it later is the fact that I read some earlier in the month, then I read some today. So I'm like, maybe I should go over again, read it before sending in
Okay,
nominations.
that's
But
it.
I'll just yeah.
That saves me a lot because I have to be somewhere at 6:30. So
Oh,
just do that for us, but do it tonight, tomorrow, because today is 30th. We have to publish.
okay.
Just do that and send in
Okay.
your feedback and nomination.
No problem,
Your
sir.
feedback will still form part of what will be published.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so guys, listen. Item 3 here is book retreat. I mean, retreat a book in a year. And Daniel was the person. I will reach out to Daniel and see if he's able to organize this. But if he's not able to organize it, I can organize it, but I'll need someone to assist me. So for July, usually, I want to do the graphic design training. I haven't got anyone to sponsor that yet, but I'm hopeful. If I don't, I'll still find a way and muscle through it. But I want to make it an annual thing now. July, I'll sponsor 5 or 10 people, depending on how much. We'll sponsor 5 or 10 people that are interested in learning graphic design. They just do the basics and then take it from there. You do the basics and continue practicing like we did last time. Some of you now have learned how to do your own image. You don't worry about copyright. Just design something that is desirable to you. The more you do it, the more you improve. That's how I started. My story is out there. I even wrote a story about it. So then next this July, we'll have that retreat. That retreat is very important to get us started. I am thinking of having that retreat and doing work on the first thing about your book, introduction. But I'll have a chat with Daniel and get back to everybody via the WhatsApp platform. So I want to thank everybody. And again, I say Ebube is yearning for your feedback. If you can, do that. Okay, Ebube, you're here. You want to say something. If you can, you do that through the platform, or you can send in something more detailed, which I will do. I'll send him something because his book is too large. It's quite big. He will need a lot of research. It's an area I also know a lot about personal self-development, control, and discipline. Okay, Bube, you were raising your hand. Just say something, please, because we have to close.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I wanted to ask if the program is just for graphics design, if there are other
No,
disciplines.
I'll do a post on this. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, because
I usually just do a post on it, just a short post on it.
Okay, I wanted to just know if there is variety. I'm a project manager. Wanted to know if the
don't worry. You will do a post. I'll do a post. Evamina, if you're here, can you give us your feedback? Because you actually have a story published. I thought she rejoined us. Maybe. Yeah, she's here. Evamina, can you hear me? Sad. Okay. Thank you guys we've had a nice session. Peace was also here, and I think she's gone too. Evamina, if you can hear me, I'll write something on the WhatsApp group, please. We just have to go now because we've been here for over an hour now, I guess. We started this around 5 or. Okay. Do you want to talk? If your network is giving you issues, you can send this, you can send in your, because you have something published, and for you to sorry, excuse me, for you to stand a chance of winning this, you have to participate in this. And I've seen that maybe due to network, you try to join us and we can't hear you. You will be given the chance to send in your nomination. So don't worry about that. So guys, thank you very much. We will continue our discussion on WhatsApp. It's been a wonderful evening. And I think we spent longer this time around. Thank you always for giving me your time and believing in what we're doing. So I'll do a post on the graphic design thing, and then we'll have a winner after Victor and Evamina have sent in their feedback and nomination. So good evening and see you on WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.